I've created this holiday ad for Coppola Diamond Prosecco using the iconic Christmas carol Deck the Halls to spell out the brand name Coppola with a bouncing Prosecco cork along with the fa la 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 rhythm of the song. Hi, Ben here with a new case study video. The idea behind this ad was to have a Prosecco cork pop off a bottle and initially bounce on the letters of fa la 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 la, which then continues with a cork bouncing on the Coppola brand name on the label. Ad concludes with an end screen revealing the full bottle and a glass of Prosecco next to it, with the cork rolling into the frame to complete its journey. For production planning, I broke the idea in 3 segments. First, the cork popping off the bottle. Second, and the most challenging part, was the cork bouncing off the letters. And lastly, the end scene of the advertisement. We wanted the brand name to be visible in the first 3 seconds of the video. That's why we decided to do a camera lift starting from the bottle label and moving toward the cork. I definitely didn't want to use a wider shot and move it from bottom to top in post, because you would easily tell it wasn't a real camera move. For this part, I used my DIY XYZ slider to vertically lift the camera and hold the frame right when the cork came into view. With bubbly drinks, sometimes when you open the cork's cage, the cork will gradually come off. I had to build a rig that pulled the cork off in a way that I could remove the rig in post, making it look like the cork was opened by itself. So I created a small piece that was screwed into the back of the cork, attached to a pneumatic arm, and we pulled up the cork after the camera was positioned correctly. Of course, we had several takes.
There you go.
And even in the best take, we had a little shake on the bottle. I used After Effects to track the motion and stabilize the frame. Since I didn't want to add any marks on the bottle to track the motion in post, I found what marks was actually on the bottle and used these 2 small light glitters that works perfectly for After Effects to track the movement of the bottleneck. After doing that and with some masking, I had a pretty clean first clip. However, the cork opening was happening so fast. Even though I shot it at 120 frames per second, and what you're seeing is 5 times slower than how it was actually happening, it was still too quick. We were losing the cork in the frame too fast, so I manually added the cork back in for a few frames before cutting to the next scene. This gave the eye something to follow, as the cork will be the focus of the movement in the next scene, and we want to ensure the audience assumes this is the same cork that flies up, enters the next scene, and does all the bouncing. For this scene, the correct bouncing and rotation of the cork had to match the rhythm of the music. Because of the scale, the cork had to be shot separately. There was no way to shoot the cork in front of the bottle label and pull off the idea, as the cork is actually much bigger than it appears in the final shot. I also wanted to physically spin the cork so that I wouldn't mess with the shadow while rotating it. If you take a still image of a cork and rotate it in After Effects, the shadow side of the cork will spin with the object. In reality, the shadow should stay on the same side while the cork is spinning. Therefore, I needed to shoot this spinning motion on camera as well. Dragon Frame has this sound environment designed to sync puppet mouth forms with spoken words. I used this feature to figure out the exact frame the cork needed to hit each letter according to the chosen song rhythm. Then I rigged the cork on this motion control spinning rig that I built to shoot it in a stop motion. I decided to add the movement on the X and Y axis in post. I only focused on spinning the cork around 2 rotational axes. One as the cork's spinning like this, and the other, its slow spin around itself to add a more realistic movement. Precisely based on what frame the cork needed to hit down and then it should do a half turn so the other edge hits the next leather, and so on, until it completes bouncing of all the leathers and finally leaves the screen. I used the same XYZ rig to shoot a close-up camera movement from left to right, passing the bottle label. This part could have been done with a simple camera slider. Since I was already set up with the 6-axis rig, I used the same one to pull off this shot. And since this was a very close-up shot, you can see how the focus changes on each leather, and that's so nice, much better than having a still image and moving it left to right in post. Then I keyed out the cork in After Effects and put it on top of the label footage. I moved the cork up and down. Since the rotation was fully synced with the music and the exact frame where I wanted it to hit each leather, I only had to adjust the horizontal and vertical positioning of the cork. And finally, I added a shadow of the cork onto the bottle label to make the effect more realistic and create depth. And finally, the end card. This scene features a camera pullback starting on the bottle label and revealing the full bottle next to a glass of Prosecco. The scene is completed by the nice movement of the cork rolling into the frame. Initially, I considered creating this part using stop motion. However, we decided it would look more natural and organic if we tried to roll the cork in live action. Our art director, Jared, did a great job trying 100 times to roll the cork perfectly into the frame, and we finally got the perfect landing. This successfully completed the cork's journey from popping off the bottle top to sitting next to it at the end. I hope you've enjoyed this breakdown video. Please let me know if you have any questions or want more details about any specific part in the comment section, and please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you like to see more videos like this. Thank you for watching. Fa la 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 la, la Coppola.